Hi, I'm Les Moreland. I'm the current commander, AMVETS Post 2006 here in Leesburg, Florida. And we're a proud sponsor of Central Florida Salute on the YouTube channel. I'd like to have you check us out on our Facebook page or whatever. Our address is 500 North Canal Street in Leesburg, Florida. To all you veterans out there, come by and see us. We salute you for your service and thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I'm your host Bob Peters, and I'm once again at Eagles 4273 in beautiful Oklahoma, Florida.
Yes.
And I have a gentleman who was retired from the United States Air Force, Major Glenn Tussing.
Yep.
And he is in charge of the ROTC in Leesburg, and we're going to learn about the Major, his career. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a presentation that they will be doing here on Veterans Day. So without ado,
Yes.
Major, where are you from?
From typical military, depends on how far back you want to go.
Well, let's start with birth.
I was born in Spain. My mother met my father. My father was after Vietnam, went to Spain, so I'm a military child.
Oh, you're a military brat.
Mom was Dad's trophy wife. So yeah, born in Spain, spent years there, then moved to Riverside with the family, and then Ohio, all military moves. Father got out, stayed reserves there, so I grew up till about 12 in Ohio, and then I moved to North Carolina, where I did middle school, high school. So I guess my main roots are North Carolina. So then I went in the military, and that starts the whole, if you're military, you know, that starts the whole chain of where you've been since then. So yeah.
You didn't do ROTC when you were in high school. You said they didn't have it, right?
Yeah, I didn't do JROTC in high school, no. And they didn't have it, so I went to college at East Carolina, and that's where I did ROTC. And I fell in love with ROTC there. I had a captain, Captain Poole. The guy was phenomenal. He took me under his wing, he took care of me, and I decided when I got the chance I wanted to do the same thing for other people. So I actually went back to my old high school, and I helped start a JROTC there.
Oh,
So, yeah.
ROTC is like college.
Yes.
And JROTC is high school.
Yeah, we're the Junior ROTC.
Junior?
So yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so I started that JROTC. I finished my college out, got my first assignment, went over. I wanted to be a pilot, as everybody does, a fighter pilot, right? That didn't happen. Turns out they weren't taking fighter pilots. So I got my first assignment, went to Edwards Air Force Base as a manpower person. So all the stats, the numbers, I took stats. They thought, hey, he did stats, he must be great. I got a 70 in stats. But they still made me do manpower.
When I was in high school, that was great.
Yeah, pass or complete, isn't it?
But you graduated college.
Yeah, and
As what?
I graduated with an industrial engineering degree, and I became a lieutenant. Didn't care about college. High school and college were a stepping stone, because ever since I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted gold bars. I wanted to be an Air Force officer. That's all I ever wanted to be. So I got that bar, got married, got a wife, so Gold Ring Club for men. So married my high school sweetheart. Then we went to Edwards, California, Edwards Air Force Base, a test base.
Yeah.
Wonderful time there. When I got there, I actually got an opportunity to become a fighter pilot finally. And this is when I didn't tell you this story before, but
Did you fly?
I flew with my buddies. They let me fly in their planes, fell in love with flying, and I thought I want to be a fighter pilot. Mm-hmm. You know who Doolittle is, Jimmy Doolittle, right?
Oh, absolutely. Doolittle's raised.
Yep. Colonel Doolittle III, the grandson, was my boss.
Oh, yeah?
In Edwards, you know, Mojave Desert, big lake beds. We flew radio to airplanes together, and one day he says, Glenn, I saw your package come across my desk to become a pilot. It's like, oh yeah, sir, are you going to sign it? He goes, no. I'm like,
No.
What? He said, Glenn, I know you. I've met your wife. I know your wife's pregnant. You've met these other pilot wives, haven't you? Yeah. What are they? I guess they're single moms. That's what he's getting at. He's like, I know you. You're a family man. You need to stay with your family. So your general will sign your package. I'm not signing your package. Best thing that anybody's ever done for me. So ended up going to Hawaii next, became a war planner, loved it. I planned all the Pacific Wars, all the exercise, all the plans I did for them, loved every minute of it. Deployed with Australians, deployed with the Marines, great life. Went to Texas, became a headquarters puke. That was interesting, but not very. Then it came to MacDill, became the manpower chief there. And
Couldn't hold a job, huh?
No, every 2.5 years they move me. They move us officers because they don't want us to stagnate.
Oh, okay.
So, but the best part came in MacDill. One day, we were doing the drawdown after 9/11, and they took the biggest career fields and drew them down to kick people out, basically, like the Rift back in the day. So I was a small career field, manpower, war planners, and then they merged me with personnel, the biggest career field. So I got offered an option: either go to Minot, North Dakota. My wife said, H, no. I said, why not?
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
you know, they say in Monarch, North Dakota, there's a barbed wire fence between it and the North Pole, and
That's
it's
it.
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And why not Minot? The freezing's the reason.
Yeah, because that was one of my choices when I got out
Oh.
of tech school. It was Monarch, North Dakota, and I said, no, thanks.
Where'd you go instead?
Well, this is not my show, but
sorry.
my story. But I went to New Hampshire after
Oh.
tech school. I was in New Hampshire, and from then I did a couple TDYs to Utapao, Thailand, with the B-52s.
Oh, nice.
But and then I did a PCS over there. So
That's nice.
Anyway, this is your story, not mine.
So I took the option instead. I took the option of jumping ship. And what happened was I started going to the TAPS program, the Transition Assistance Program, where they help you learn how to not say leave, say vacation, not say military stuff, how to say civilian stuff, how to become a civilian. It happened to be in the chapel. And the chaplain knew me, and he comes up to me and he goes, he just sat down next to me. He says, Glenn, I want to read you something. He pulls up the Bible and he reads me Proverbs 21 about how God leads the heart of a man like he guides a river course, and how always a man seem right until God weighs his heart. But he read me that, closed the Bible, and walks away and says, good luck, sir, and left. I'm like, that was a drive-by pastoring. What the heck was that?
Yeah.
But it hit me. I'm not in charge of my life. I'd chosen every assignment up to that
I'm
point.
not either. My wife is.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I wasn't going to go there, but yeah. Yeah, so basically I decided I'm not in charge of my life. So I said, all right, God, I'll get out. So I got out, I took the severance, finished TAPS, and said, God will take care of me. The very next week, SOCCENT, the Special Operations Central Command, they came to me and said, I remember you. We talked to you during one of our studies. We need a war planner. So they hired me to be a war planner as a reservist, an individual mobilization augmentee, an IMA, so I could wear my uniform every day and stay in one place. So that first 10 years, like you just said, I couldn't keep a job. Every 2.5 years, the military would move me, because that's what they do to us. Now I could stay in one place for 10 years and never have to move again. My daughters were in middle school. They could stay in one place. My wife didn't have to change jobs every few years. It was a God blessing. I loved it. So I did special ops for 10 years, did 21 trips in support of the Middle East. Everybody talks about, I did 1 or 2 deployments.
So
21
what
times.
do you do with special ops? You figure out how many planes you're going to send over, what military people or what?
Yes, kind of. Like, you got, first of all, SOCCENT, you have all special ops, SOCOM. Then you have CENTCOM is the Middle East desert. SOCCENT is all the special ops in the desert. So I was SOCCENT. Now, I planned, when we went to Syria, they told me, hey, Glenn, we're going to Syria. We needed 4 training camps out there. I cheated because I built Pakistan. I built a nice Excel sheet. I was good at Excel because of that stats. So I built an Excel sheet showing 100 positions to go to Pakistan, including the general, the colonel, how many cooks, how many janitors, how many cops. I took that and I said, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and did it 4 times to here, Syria. So when Obama came out and said, well, first of all, he said we're going back to Iraq. I hid everybody out of Iraq. So they said, we're going back to Iraq. So they pulled me in. I built the 900 positions for Iraq, 475 for Syria, and Obama comes out and announces to the world, 1,500 troops to Iraq and Syria. That was mine. I designed that package to say we're sending 1,500 troops to Iraq and Syria. So that was my
Where do you
specialty.
get all these guys? I mean, you know.
Oh, I hid them everywhere, so I pulled them back out. I would go to the Pentagon once or twice a year. I'd go to the Pentagon and argue, saying, Air Force, you got to give me 32 people and I need these skills. Army, give me these. It got to the point where the generals knew me so well that the Army or the Marine general would come in and say, Tussing, if I give you what you need, can I leave? I was like, I need 14, sir. You got it. I'm leaving. And he would leave the meetings. Instead of spending 3 days in a conference, he'd say, Tussing, if I give you what you need, can I leave? Yes. And he'd go to each one of my guys after that and do the same thing, and he would leave the conference. I love that general. So, but no, so that's what my life up to there. And then our current administration decided to change some budget things, so I lost my active status. We lost the money. This is not our current now, but our friend.
The current before that.
Yeah, current before that. So he was my boss. So I can't talk bad about him.
Well, I can,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Good job, sir. So yeah, I lost my active status, so I took a year off to work at my motorcycle church. I started a motorcycle church in Plant City. called Free Rider Fellowship. Wonderful thing.
So you're a preacher too?
I'm a minister.
Oh, you're a minister?
Now, my cadets will tell you I preach like a son of a gun. So I do preach, but I am not a preacher. I'm a minister. So I minister to one-on-one to people who need things. Which, to go to the end of the story real fast, that's all this ROTC thing is. It's a ministry with 194 cadets that I get a one-on-one with every single day. It is my God-sent dream. I love every minute of this.
Yeah, I was reading the bio you sent me.
I skipped over the Disney part just now. Military made me tough. Disney made me easy. Yeah.
I hope there's not going to be a test on this because I'll never pass. But anyway, so how many years do you do active?
I did 21 active.
Oh, so you got a good pension.
Oh, yeah. Well, not yet. I got 18 true active and 2 weekend warrior reserve because of the cut of the budget. So that means I don't get a paycheck until I'm 55. Which actually, because of the war, all the time spent in the Middle East, I think it's 53. So I got about 3 years left, and I'll get a nice pension.
Well, good. I'm happy for you.
But there's more to life than money. So my life is still happy. If I didn't get a paycheck tomorrow, I'd still be happy.
Well, I know because you really enjoy what you're doing,
Yes.
as you say,
Yeah.
you know. And so I've been trying to follow you around here.
Yeah, jumping a lot, don't I?
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually. So now somehow from your last place, now you wound up in how'd you wind up in
I'll
Leesburg?
tell you, so I got back to the Disney part. My wife, after 6 months of taking off time after getting out of the military, I took off time to work at the church. After about 6 months of coming home every day and seeing me in a good mood, she decided that just wasn't acceptable. So she said, "You've got to go find a job." So she got tired of coming home. She said, I usually have an hour or two by myself before
She
you
didn't
show
want
up.
to see you happy?
Not every single day.
Oh.
So she wanted her quiet time. So I went to try to find a job, and right then Disney started a Heroes Work Here program where they're
Yeah,
hiring
I heard of
military.
that, yeah.
Yep. So I jumped on board of that, and turns out the day I got there, I rode my motorcycle up there, ran inside, changed clothes, came back out, and came back in a suit. And the guy that held the door for me was one of the vice presidents of food and beverage. And he asked me what I did in the military, and exactly what I told you is what I told him, and how I got from military to Disney. And he fell in love with it. He took my resume and gave it to one of his guys without even telling me, but he gave his guy, says, "You're going to hire this guy." So I ended up working at Disney as a food and beverage business analyst. I was the guy who ran the team, who did the menus, recipes, prices, and all that stuff for all 500 of Disney's restaurants. So they put
Wow.
me in charge of that. So, and
Wow, that was a pretty big job.
How many years were you in the military?
I only did 4.
4? Most people do between 4 and no more than 30. Most do about 20 if they want a retirement.
Yeah.
I get there. I've got 5 people under me. We've been with the Disney for 20, 22 years, 25 years, 30, 35, and 48 years with a company. And I'm floored. And now they're calling me sir, and I'm the boss of these people. I feel like a little gold lieutenant again. I'm like, I feel so out of place. Like when a chief walks up to his lieutenant, you're like, oh, stripes. But he's got 48 years of the company, and I'm his boss. And I'm like, wow, he opened Disney up, and he worked for me. I was like, I felt honored to be there, but it's definitely a different world. And going from calling everybody by their last name to over there, you called Walt. You didn't call him Mr. Disney. So you call everybody by their first name.
Oh, you got
Disney.
to meet him?
No, he was passed away, but I met his other bosses. Everyone followed after him.
Oh.
I wish I could have met Walt. All that been so good. But he used to get mad at people. He yelled at people that called him Mr. Disney. So, but in Disney, you call everybody by their first name. My boss was Gina. Oh, I loved her to death, but I had a hard time calling her Gina. I'm like, ma'am, yes, ma'am. No, my name's Gina. Yes, ma'am, it's Gina. Yes, ma'am. So, but it was a great time. The 8 years there taught me a lot. Actually, smoothed me out.
So why'd you leave?
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of shut everything down there.
Yep. When COVID hit, they furloughed us. So me and my team, we were furloughed. We were working from home for about 6 months. And then for another 3 months, we were furloughed. We were off. And then they finally laid us off. So the day they laid me off, though, once again, I already had this thing when I got out of the military the first time and had to drive by pastoring. I learned my lesson. He taught me that God's got my back. So when this happened, I wasn't worried. And so Disney said, we're laying you off on December 4th. I'm like, roger that. Turns out December 5th, before I tell that part, for years, my entire time at Disney, and then before I got out of the military, I was looking for a Jr ROTC job. And they're extremely hard to get. Anybody from this area who knows about Leesburg knew Master Sergeant Morris. He was there for 21 years. So people who do Jr ROTC is such a great life that they never leave the job. They either die or retire. And usually they don't retire till late. Like he did
Chief
21.
Dixon, you know Chief Dixon?
Chief Dixon, see right there. Chief Dixon. He still wants to come back and do it again. So he keeps offering to come back and substitute and help me out.
He's a great guy. He's been on my show. We know each other rather well.
Yeah.
He's a Vietnam veteran.
Wonderful guy.
He is a great guy. So he wants to come back and help out a little bit.
He
loves kids. He loves kids. So,
but they never leave the program. So ever since I was getting out of the military the first time, I was looking for ROTC jobs and I couldn't find any. No Air Force ROTC in the area, nothing. So I spent my entire 8 years at Disney. Every some odd months, I hated when people job hunted at work. I would job hunt. That's the only thing I do is look for ROTC. Once every few months, I'd look for ROTC. Couldn't find one. December 4th, they laid me off. December 5th, my daughter walks up to me with a cell phone and goes, "Hey, Dad, I found a ROTC job at Leesburg." The very next day. So
you live in Claremont, right?
Claremont. Now, when I was at Disney, when I was at MacDill, I lived in Brandon, Valrico, way over there by Tampa. When I started working at Disney, I commuted it. So 130 miles a day from Brandon to Disney.
Wow.
I'm pretty much a diehard person. So I still loved it. I love my commutes, my quiet time, books on tape. I don't read, but I do books on tape. So
Well, yeah,
learned a lot.
They're good for, we used to do that, my wife and I, when we had an RV. We'd turn on one of those, and just drive forever and listen to the stories.
Oh yeah, definitely get through so many books that way.
Yeah.
So I commuted all that time. Then this brings my ministry side. When I was at Disney, a lady I worked with came up to me and said, "Glenn, I need to get married." And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm already taken." She's like, No. I need somebody to marry me. Like I said, I'm taken. So it's kind of fun.
Don't take up comedian.
No, I'm not that good.
No, you're not that good.
It's true facts, though. Facts are funnier than fiction.
That's true.
But she finally said, "No, my husband and I, my boyfriend and I want to get married. He's Methodist." And I said, "Oh, Methaholic, yeah. He's Methodist." And she said, "I'm a Jehovah's Witness." I'm like, "Oh." So neither one of their pastors would touch it.
That's a stretch.
It is, exactly. That's what their pastor said. So neither one would do it. And I was a minister, but I'd never done a wedding. So I thought, I'll do your wedding. What the heck? Good friends. So I went to Claremont to do their wedding. And have you ever been to Claremont?
I've been to,
It's a pretty little town.
It's a nice town, yeah.
Compared to Valrico, there's actually hills.
Yes, there are. There's a golf course there. It's got a lot of hills.
Yeah. So I fell in love. I was actually able to go down and up. I'm like, oh, I love this area. Because I'm from Carolinas, so I love the hills. So I fell in love with it and said, I told my wife, let's go check this place out. So once again, it's a God thing here. For 2 years, almost 2 years, about a year and a half, we kept trying to find a house. We made 5 deals, all 5 fell through, but we wanted to move to Claremont. We realized we're fighting God's will on this, so we once again backed off. And son of a gun, about 6 months later, Lisa, the girl I did the wedding for, calls me and says, "Hey, Glenn, I passed your house today." I'm like, "You're in Tampa?" She's like, No, I passed your house in Claremont." I was like, "I don't live in Claremont." She said, "Glenn, I passed the house you're going to buy in Claremont." I'm like, "Yeah, right, Lisa." A month later, that was my house. So
Was she real estate, or she just?
No, she's attuned to his will.
She just knew that you wanted.
And turns out the house is 5 houses down from hers.
Oh, okay.
And it's right on a lake. My wife and I said if we moved, we're either going to get a lakefront property, a swimming pool, or a big garage where we could build a pool for her. She wanted the pool in the lake. So turns out the house is on a lake, and I had enough room to build my 24 by 40 foot garage mahal. So for all my toys. We're not going to go into that, but I am into some hobbies. You name a hobby, I probably do it.
Well, I know you told me you were into model airplanes.
Oh yeah, and drones too.
Drones,
yeah.
yes.
I also fly those tablecloths with the
We'll
rear
get
fans.
together
Yeah.
sometime on
Yeah.
that. Like I told you before, they have a model airplane crew.
Oh, that's right here.
They fly in the back here, yeah.
Yes, we'll play with that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll see if I can find out the information on it. I don't know who they are. But anyway.
So I applied for the job right there and got it. One of the things that got me in was at Disney, when I was at Disney, Michelle Obama, you know who she is. She's the one
I've heard of her, yeah.
Yeah. She came to Disney and she saw a comic book. They made a comic book. I didn't tell you this on there. I am a registered Marvel superhero. I am Major Jake. I should have brought the comic book. I had in my hand today. I am about your build.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to film on November 11th.
Oh, there we go.
The students from Leesburg High School doing the Table of Honor, and you bring the comic book.
I'll bring it then, yes. Okay. But she saw that comic book with me. They depicted me as a superhero and how I went from military to Disney. Or military to Disney. And she said, I want to meet this guy, and I want to do a speech on him. So she kept having her colonels call me from the White House to ask me questions and all that. And I remember one time she called and said, the colonel called, and said, "Major, she wants to know why you left Disney, or why you left the military to go to Disney." I'm like, she doesn't want to know that. Oh yeah, sure, she wants to know. Please, tell me. I'm sorry. Finally, he forced me. I said, okay, I'll tell you. Her husband cut the budget, made me lose my job, and I had to find something else to do. There's silence. And he's like, "Sir, please don't tell her that." I'm like, "I won't." But the funny thing is, there's a video of her when she did it, the whole speech. It's on, if you Google or YouTube, Heroes Work Here, Disney, and Obama, Michelle Obama, it'll come up on a video. About the 2-minute point, she says, oh, if you know Glenn Tussing, and she goes on to talk about my transition.
That veterans are resilient, they are good at team building, they're comfortable with diversity, they're good at handling uncertainty, they have language skills and technical training, and the report goes on and on and on. Many of you already know this from firsthand experience. For example, those of you who work right here at Disney may have encountered an employee named Glenn Tussing. Now, Glenn served in the Air Force as Chief of Future Joint Manpower Requirements. Now, with a title like that, you might wonder how on earth did Glenn wind up here at Disney? But if you look at what Glenn was actually doing in the military, it makes perfect sense. See, Glenn was a manpower expert, and for every mission he was assigned, he was responsible for figuring out the exact numbers and types of troops needed for that mission to succeed, from the pilots to the engineers to the medical personnel. Then he'd have to locate those troops and then help them get where they needed to go. So when Disney was looking for someone to manage the menus in Disney properties around the world, and then figure out the exact quantities and types of ingredients needed for every recipe at every meal, and then get that information where it needed to go, they knew that Glenn was their guy. In fact, today, Glenn says he's actually using the same types of databases and programs he was using in the military. Although Glenn reports that here at Disney, folks smile a whole lot more. So it's fair to say that our veterans have some highly marketable and highly transferable skills, and chances are you won't go wrong if you hire a veteran.
She went down the row afterwards, shaking everybody's hand, saying, thank you for your service, thanks for your service. And she came to me and I said, thank you so much for getting my last name right. She goes, oh, are you Tussing? I'm like, yes. She goes, oh, did I get your job title right? I'm like, what? She said, I spent the whole flight down here trying to memorize your job title. It was Chief of Joint Wartime Plans and Execution, or something like that. I don't remember it now. But it was funny. We talked for like 2 minutes, and you know, if you've ever seen the First Lady when she speaks, when she's done, everybody has to stand applauding, right? Well, she's going down this row of all these troops, and she's talking to me for 2 minutes, and everybody's standing there like, they can't sit down, and they can't stop applauding until she goes. So I was like, ma'am, I think you have to continue on. She was wonderful. She said, come see me afterwards.
She seems to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now you're here in Leesburg High School.
Yes.
With the junior. How many kids in there?
When I got here, we had 50-some. I started doing recruiting. We had 133 last year. This year, we started out with 194. So we have a very growing program. In this school, the history of Leesburg High School with Jr ROTC is huge. It goes way back. We were some of the best in the state for many years for drill team and honor guard.
I know
color
Chief
guard.
Dixon.
Yes, Chief was awesome.
Yes, I know that.
We're trying to build back up to what he had. So I'm working at it from 50 to 190 in 3 years or 2.5 years. I'm working at it.
Well, we have a connection here too at Leesburg.
What's that?
The high school.
Oh yeah.
This set that you're sitting at was built by the kids in Leesburg High School.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's bigger than Jay Leno's and all these other people.
Actually, I believe it.
But,
the camera adds 10 pounds to the set too.
The kids in Leesburg High School built it. The merchants and businesses, everybody chipped in to buy the materials, and this was given to me by the students of Leesburg High School.
I like it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Very sturdy.
I used to be on Lakefront TV. When we decided to part ways, I took it with me, and I wanted to put it in my living room, but my wife said no.
Oh,
and
smart wife.
The Eagles here said put it right there.
Nice.
So, and then that's when we've been filming out of here for the last 3 years, I think.
I like it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a very professional setup. I love the flags.
Yeah. Well, hey, we try to look professional. You know what I mean, Glenn?
So yeah, so that's me in a big nutshell, a really big nutshell. So, one more thing, guys. I've added since then. I now teach Embry-Riddle. So we added a college course. So I got my master's from Embry-Riddle. So I started talking to them, and they wanted me to teach a class. So I teach an aviation class and a drone class, two halves of the year, and they get 6 hours of college credit from it.
Really?
So now my goal, just like Randolph says, is to prepare them for life, career, or career in the military, trade, or something like that. or college. And this is my stab at getting him ready for college.
You know, I have a PhD.
You do?
Yeah, public high school diploma.
I like that. I have one of those too.
Yeah.
Yay. I like that a lot.
But anyway, so how many events you guys do?
Oh, geez. This week, we have a lot of it. You know, on the day we were coming over here to see you guys, we've got 4 events that day. We have 1 or 2 that want us the next day and 1 or 2 that want us the day before. So our color guard is small, but they're very busy.
Do you march like
Parade?
yeah, in parades or whatever?
Actually, we did the Leesburg Homecoming. We're going to do the Lady Lake Christmas Parade. And on that same day, that's in the morning, luckily in the morning. In the evening, we're doing the Leesburg Christmas Parade. But we head it, we lead it out. So yeah, we're doing those 2 parades this year, or 3 parades: Homecoming, Lady Lake Christmas, and Leesburg Christmas.
You know, I was talking to a commissioner here in Leesburg.
Yeah.
I want a Heroes Parade.
Ooh,
I want it around November 11th, right around Veterans
I
Day.
gotta chill. I like
Yeah,
that.
because you know what?
want
We don't do it. We
firefighters,
don't do a
everybody.
Veterans Day parade. Where I came
we
from,
don't?
no, we don't.
Huh.
Where I came from up north, Veterans Day is big, and those were the big parades. And
Nice.
I talked to the commissioner, and I'm putting it out there for everybody
Yes.
who lives in Leesburg area and around. Back me up. I want to do a Heroes Parade, not necessarily on November 11th, because I don't want to interfere
Oh, it's too
with all.
busy, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, all the posts are doing theirs. All the military organizations are
Yeah.
doing theirs. 11/11/11.
How about the
But
week
maybe do it on the 12th or something, with a Saturday or.
Or 9/11.
Well, no, 9/11. Well, I wanted to do it in November because you know why? It's cooler.
Oh, you're right. No, no, you're right. You're right. Never mind.
And I want the,
I like that.
I want you to get the high school kids,
Yes.
the band, and everybody all around, and so it'd be a nice. It might be nice, a heroes parade
be.
to honor our
Firefighters,
firemen, our
police.
police, our
Oh my
military,
gosh.
and our nurses
Oh, yes.
for
Yeah.
what they've gone through for COVID and everything, everyday things. But
Let me
anyway,
add something. If we can get like South Lake, who's
I'm
Navy
putting you in
ROTC.
charge because you're a major.
I'll do the ROTC stuff, yeah. If I can get South Lake, who's Navy, get the Army units, let's get a color guard in the very front with Army, Air Force, with these Army, Air Force, Marine flags. Get them all and make it joint. I like joint.
Get all the veterans posted around here, the AMVETS,
Yes.
the Legions, VFWs, whatever.
Oh, I'm getting chills again. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Wonderful thought, sir. I love it. Cool. So what other questions you might have?
Well,
I threw a lot at you.
yeah, well, like I said, I hope there isn't a test because
I'll get an online
tough
test you
time
later.
follow. But yeah, you told me you fly drones and model airplanes, right?
Yes, and I fly paragliders. You know
Oh,
what are?
those, yeah.
Yeah, the tablecloth with the fan
You're
on your
nuts.
backside. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the dumbest forms of aviation when I was in the Air Force until on my master's degree, I had to do a thesis on the safety of ultralights, which is 103, but it's the whole category. And I started studying those, and I found that's the safest form of aviation. Because when you fall out of an airplane, what do you want? A parachute. What are they flying? A parachute. It's about the safest thing there is.
Oh, and you're not flying the ones with like a glide?
Oh, no, not the glider. I don't like those.
Yeah.
Those-
Well,
they
they
collapse.
fly a lot of those out of.
Yeah. I fly those, it's like the big parachute, big
Yeah,
we call it the
yeah,
tablecloth
yeah,
with the butt
yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
It's like the fan on your back, and you.
We'll have to film that someday.
Oh yeah, those are fun. So I fly those, and my cadets, I've got 2 practice ones that I take out in the field, and we have the cadets race down the football field, running with it up over their head. So they're very fun. The cadets love it. And of course, anything that makes them smile is good for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and we have a lot of the cadets there. I've never realized how we have it, how kids have it nowadays until I got here at high school. I never had even thought or contemplated the fact that Christmas break or Thanksgiving break might be a sad time for kids. A lot of kids have so much trouble at home that they don't want to leave school. The fact that they're not going to see myself and the master sergeant brings tears to their eyes.
Yeah.
And the fact that they might not get meals the next day brings tears to their eyes.
Yeah.
And that's where my ministry side steps in. I want to help them.
So
with these
where do
things.
you do your ministry?
Everywhere and anywhere.
Everywhere. and
Basically,
everywhere?
people I run into through life, and they find I need help. I got 5 guys in different parts of the states now. I got 5 guys, actually 5 in Florida alone, and multiple that have moved around the world that I keep track of, and I help out when I can. Some end up
for
in
you.
jail, and I try to help them. So I get them out of jail. Some need cars. People used to donate cars to me, and I would fix them up and give them away. I just realized in a year and a half, nobody's giving me a car. So I
Well,
need more cars.
there is a program here for giving cars for veterans. Warrior Wheels, I think it's called.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's in Ocala, and one of the guys with it is a good friend of mine, Jason White, United States Marine Corps.
Ooh.
Warrior Wheels, if people have a car or something, they can give it to them, and they fix it up for veterans.
I need to figure that out. I need to join them. Because that's part of why I built my garage. It's my church. I'm at the Crossing Church, one of my many churches. So they can come over to my garage, and we help fix up cars. So I'm giving 2 away with that Crossing Church.
Look it up, Jason White.
Jason White.
Yeah, he does the Birdwell Foundation.
Yeah. One other thing we do, the family's got bikes to get rid of. My cadets have started a program because I gave away 4 bicycles last year because all these kids are walking to school every day.
Yeah.
So I gave away bicycles. I kept finding them on the side of the road, and if they sat there for more than 3 weeks on the side of the road, I picked them up. And then I fixed them up, and I gave them to a cadet.
Oh, that's
So now, that's another program I have now is giving cadets bikes.
Yeah.
And then I think the other program I ran was, Bill Bryant, the dealerships?
Yep.
He sends 20 of our cadets every year to something called National Flight Academy up in Pensacola. Really neat program. It's a hangar fashioned into an aircraft carrier. And they spend 3 days inside it. It looks like, sounds like, and smells like an aircraft carrier. And it's 3 days, no cell phones, they're locked away, and they spend it acting like they're on an aircraft carrier. Wonderful. Flight operations, simulators, everything. But he came to see my program, and his partner's Rob Audette. He actually runs the dealerships here with Bill's name on it. And Rob saw that I told him I had a cadet run the 1.5 mile run for time to try to get a scholarship, and she's running in, I think they're Keds, which are not running shoes.
No.
And I said a lot of my cadets they can afford 1 pair of shoes for the year, so they don't bother to buy Nikes. They get something that looks good.
Yeah.
So he didn't. He said a month later he calls me, and he's an E8 Marine, and he calls, Glenn, I need you to come over and see me. Wouldn't tell me why. So all right, E8 Marine yells at you, says to come see him. If it's a major, you jump and go see him. So I went to see him. And he said, Major, ever since I left you for a month now, I've been thinking of those darn cadets and their shoes. I want to do something. So he put boxes at his dealership saying, like, basically shoes for ROTC cadets. And he got me over 150 pairs of shoes donated.
Oh, cool.
So I got a giant walled shelf now full of shoes.
We have to spend time with our youth.
I know.
So we're going to come here, and we're going to have the students perform the table.
Yes.
And you're going to bring your comic books.
I'll bring one. I'll bring a signed copy for you.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I'll warn you, I look more like you than me. The guy's big and chiseled and blonde, but yeah, he's a good-looking man.
But they used your name.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not definitely.
What kind of bike you got? Harley?
I got a Victory Cross Country. That's my prime. But now I've got 2 KLR 650s. They're dual sports, on and off-road. I've become addicted to the Trans-America Trail. You ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes from coast to coast, and about 70% is off-road.
Yeah.
My daughter's my goal. My daughter, she rides with me too, and she's one of the best students. I'm also a motorcycle instructor, and she's one of the best students I've ever had. But she's going to snag one of them. She keeps trying to steal my Victory. I won't let her have that.
Oh.
But she'll take the other KLR, and we're going to try ride cross country. She teaches at Eustis Middle School.
Really?
She's a science teacher.
Wow.
My wife was there as a guidance and mental health liaison. Now she's at Eastridge High School. Big school, 2,700 kids, huge.
Yeah.
But she's there as a mental health liaison. So
Oh.
between us, that's why I'm really good at the ministering and helping people one-on-one, because she's taught me a lot. My wife she's the yin to my yang and the angel of my life. So
Well, that's
and
good.
We do every Wednesday night. It's called Casual Bible Studies. For many years it's Coffee Talk, but 7 years we've done that. It's called Coffee Talks. We had friends come over every night, every Wednesday, and we had coffee and brownies. And some of the people couldn't make it out of their house because they're injured or older. So we started videoing it, and then it became big, and people started watching it all around the world, actually. So we just kept doing it online. Now we're here in Claremont. My wife says we have no friends anymore. What is it? Nobody wants to drive to Claremont. So we just do it in a living room. But actually last night we finished Acts, and we were going to take a break for a while and see when we come back on. But 7
Well, when
years.
you take a break and you sit down and start binge watching
Yes,
Central
YouTube.
Florida, I'm going to give you a test.
There we go.
Yeah.
Next time I come in here, ask me questions.
All right.
And I appreciate it.
Well, I want to tell you, I think it's great what you do. The ROTC program, Junior ROTC program and stuff. Matter of fact, if you see the intro of the show, Central Florida Salute,
Yes.
you'll see the kids. They're all Leesburg High School kids from several
that's
years
right.
ago.
I did watch that, yes.
Several years ago. They're all graduated by now, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, so we used them in the very beginning of the
Nice.
show.
Look forward to seeing that.
And like I said, we have a connection right here.
Yep.
So, but anyway, we're going to film the event.
Yep.
But for right now, I think we're going to say goodbye. because they're getting ready to start serving food in here.
Ooh, food.
Yeah,
I'm a foodie.
You know what? You live in Claremont. You're not an Eagle, huh?
No, I should look into it.
Well, I'm
though.
going to get you an application. We're going to
can do
show
that.
you around.
Sounds good.
We are not a veterans organization. We are people helping people. And Eagles understand that veterans are in the community and they're a big part of the community.
Yep.
So they allowed me to come in here to do our YouTube shows, and they support a lot of veterans projects like Ashley's house in Eustis
Yep.
and all these others. So,
Well, I'll
and
tell
if
you.
you're a veteran,
Yeah.
it's like pay 1 year, you get the next one free.
Yes. Oh, you talking about that? Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like that.
I'm going to get you an application.
I'll tell you, my ministry's name is I Am Basque, which is I am my brother and sister's keeper. So
Wow.
this Eagles program mirrors my ministry very well. So maybe it is a place I need to be.
Yeah,
So,
we've
yeah.
got some good people here.
Cool.
All right, well, we're going to say
Appreciate it.
goodbye,
Thank you for having me.
and we're going to look at that camera.
Yes.
And, because I know you were Air Force, you can salute without a hat.
Oh, without poking
You know.
myself in the eye, too.
Yeah.
I've gotten good at it. So, yeah. That's what they teach us officers.
Yeah. You're a trip, All right.
Definitely.
To all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time. Thank you, Major.
Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.